All right, Brevin. I'm driving dirty this week, my friend. I am driving dirty. How about this situation? All right, so my driver's license was expiring. I thought it expired at the end of the month. It expires at the beginning of the month. All right, cool. Take care of it, right? I get online. It's not working online. It's not working. I finally get it to work, okay? And it gets me through all the stages and everything. And then it says, you're ineligible because you have to get a picture taken. Have you seen the lines at the driver's license places here recently?
Yes, because
5-hour lines.
So I feel lucky because remember I went and did mine when I lost my license.
That's
and
right.
I went and did the whole real ID. I said I'm getting it out the way.
So now tomorrow, I'm standing in line for 5 hours to get the real ID. I mean, it's either that or, I could stand in line for 5 hours just to renew my driver's license if I want, so might as well get the real ID while I'm standing in line for 5 hours. So today, someone tells me, well, go to the kiosk because they have the cameras. The kiosk, you can renew your license. And I was like, great, I'll just renew my license and then I'll get the real ID at some other point in time.
But so you got to get it, you got to get it sooner
I have a passport.
or you just have to keep your passport.
Yeah. So I go to the kiosk, go through the whole setup, and I'm like so excited. I'm like, oh, I don't have to stand in line for 5 hours tomorrow. This is great. The camera doesn't work.
I want to say something had to be wrong. If somebody else, other people have to know, and if for you to just walk up and do it, there had to have been an issue.
This is just for a regular ID.
Okay.
For this machine.
Right.
So the camera doesn't work. So now I'm still on the mend for going tomorrow, standing in line for 5 hours. It's supposed to rain, which I welcome the rain because then maybe people won't come.
Yep.
I'm miserable about it. And so now I guess I could try another kiosk, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so then, oh, by the way, I'm driving with expired tags as well.
So you're riding dirty.
Riding dirty. I had... They expired. I renewed them on March 30th. They still haven't arrived. So I called the number and I said, hey, my tags haven't arrived. And they said, oh, okay, well, just come on in and we'll give you new ones for, no charge.
Yes.
You already paid. You got your records. Just bring your email in and boom, you're done. And I said, do I have to stand in line? And she said, yes.
You gotta love Memphis tags, bro.
So, over at Wanda Halbert's place, I have to go stand in line now to get my tags for an hour or two. So my whole week now is dedicated to standing in line. And I am not happy about this situation.
The plates one is not gonna be bad. That one you're gonna be all right.
Have you ever have you gotten
tags?
tags?
Yeah, go down Washington Boulevard downtown and do it.
I know, but it's so far.
So listen, either your ass gonna complain about the standing in line because I want to drive 5 minutes, or if I want to drive goddamn 25 minutes and I can be done in a half an hour. Which one do you want? You can't burn the candle on both ends.
They all
as
suck.
the parents would tell you. So I just gave you that's one that'll make it easier on you to do that. Now, waiting for doing a license? Shit. I got no special schedule. And there's no right time to go. Before it was like, people gotta work. I guess people just ain't working how they used to because you try to go early in the morning, it's not gonna work. You think maybe if I go around midday, ain't nobody trying to go use their lunch break to go get no license.
Right.
So maybe it should be oh, heck no.
Oh, it's going to be miserable. So, welcome to the show. This is Night Court. I'm Rob Fisher, standing in line. You can get me on Twitter at The Fish Nation. Brevin Knight alongside. He's on Twitter at Brevin Knight 22. The show is on Twitter at Night Court 22. And of course, you can watch each and every episode on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel, as well as listen each and every week here to Night Court. We're happy you're with us. We're going to talk a lot of NBA, but first, some Grizzlies news this week. The Grizzlies make it official. They are sticking with Tuomas Iisalo as their head coach. Boy, I better get that down. Tuomas Iisalo.
There you go.
Pretty good. Tuomas Iisalo. But the problem is, that's pretty good, but the problem is every time I say it, I have to stop before I say it. Well, the Grizzlies today made a move as Tuomas Iisalo announced that
So it's like a twitch that kicks in.
I mean, it's kind of rough. But Tuomas gets the job. We got to start calling him Coach T.I. How's that?
That's what we definitely got to call him that.
Coach T.I. Coach T.I. Gets the head coaching job, and I don't think a shock that this happens, that he gets the head coaching job. Let's go. We'll see how it works.
I think once what happened with Taylor, then your next thought, people were saying, well, who's going to be the head coach? Like, well, there's already a major investment in this guy that they made interim head coach. And unless it was to just all go far, far right to where it just didn't work at all, there was no connection between he and the team, I think there would have been a search for another prospective coach.
Right.
But once they saw that things didn't get worse in any way, they saw some growth in some areas. They felt
Team played hard.
Yeah, they felt there was some level of positivity, and there was the positive feedback from the players.
Yeah.
And so once you're able to get that, then I mean, it was a no-brainer on where they were going to go. Now it's just about being able to put in the work, but also find what the other players or what this roster is going to look like that gives them a realistic chance to be able to compete with what at this point has become an extremely deep, not just Western Conference or what you play against, but the league in general is doing a better job with the talent.
Yeah, I think it's I'm interested to see Coach T.I. for an entire season. You know, it was such a small sample size that I even told you there wasn't a lot of emotion on the bench. There was a lot of teaching or drawing up plays. There wasn't a lot of, coach speak and things like that. Now, I don't know if that was just the moment that he took the job, maybe as he gets more comfortable with guys, and you'll see more of that. And, because I've never seen a coach that's not, somewhat shows some emotion on the bench. And so I'm interested to see that when that happens. Like when he got the technical, that was interesting to me that he showed a lot of emotion in that moment.
You and me both.
Right? So I think a full season will be very interesting to see Tuomas and what he can do. He's a brilliant basketball mind. There's no denying that. Brilliant basketball mind. And he's a great dude.
I thought the playoffs
coaching in the NBA is, hell, they all know basketball. It's a lot more than just knowing basketball.
Well, I thought getting the playoff experience was good for him and what that pressure feels like.
Yeah.
But also it gave him a chance to also see how guys responded in those situations and what that you can really look forward to as saying, well, this can help us. This is where we need help. This is where we think we can grow.
Right.
And so for him to be a part of that at that point, and now give an entire summer to get ready for it, and then just continuing to see what that feeling is like to be standing at the front of the bench, being a guy that's the ultimate decision maker and what you have happen. But like you said, his mind for the game is good, but also offensively be able to see what he would like to do from the beginning of the season, throughout the season, and what that can be like going into the playoffs.
Well, and you said it last week, how to maximize each person's talent.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing for a coach taking over this job. So congratulations to Coach T.I.
Yes.
Look forward to a full season with him next year. All right, the NBA playoffs.
It's been good.
Okay, so there are 4 series. Well, the 4th gets underway tonight as we record this. The first 3, the road team, all won. So the first thing I'm going to ask you before we look at those games, because they all had some interest in how they played out. Indiana, the Knicks, Denver. In order, which one has the greatest chance of winning their series?
But I really think Indiana has a big chance, and I think their biggest chance is because of the injuries that Cleveland has right now, which is now added. They already were without Garland for game 1, and that was his 3rd game in a row that he had missed. Now Evan Mobley and DeAndre Hunter go on their list of guys who are probable
Yeah.
for this game with injuries. And so if those guys are not able to play, then that just puts them in a very tough situation. And I know this season, their games, how they happen, when they happen, there were injuries as a part of them. None of them were really at full strength. But Indiana won, I think, 3-1 then. They come and win game 1 now. And so I think they become the most dangerous of those 3 that you mentioned. And a lot of it is because of what Cleveland may be missing in these games.
Which is terrible. I mean, Cleveland, the success they had this season is because everybody played.
Yes.
All season long. So this is awful timing for any injuries for the Cavs, but we'll see how that plays out as Indiana leads that series 1-0. The Knicks beat Boston because Boston missed 45 threes. 45 threes. They missed. My favorite stat of the game was in the third quarter. They took 20 shots. 19 of them were threes. That's amazing.
Well, and the thing is, it's how they play.
That's them.
But to me, I always felt like at some point in time, you had to adjust to what the game was. No longer what the number was. It was what did the game need at that time. Because at that moment, it was you had taken the 20-point lead. Now it's about getting good shots. They literally were turning down shots going towards the basket that were makeable shot attempts to throw them back out. And it just kept taking them over and over. And so, but give the Knicks credit. OG Anunoby was great. Jalen Brunson was who he has become. At this point, it's expected.
Yeah.
And to see someone of his lack of athleticism and combined with lack of size to still be the best player on the floor just speaks volumes to how good he is at this game and being able to finish the way that he has been.
And I guess it's because of those things that he always looks like he's in distress. Like there's always something miserable happening around him. Even after a great play, he just has that look like, oh God, what's going to happen next?
Well, the thing about it is, I think it is a controlled, uncontrolled look. Like to you, it looks uncontrolled, but for him and how he's playing, he knows exactly what he's doing. And I think it's because of that herky-jerky style that allows him to be able to create the space that he needs to finish. Because these are not the threes. Yes, people will talk, but the amount of finishes that he has with the little turnaround shot that he makes, a little step back, his offensive arsenal is vast. And he's given the freedom to be able to do it, not just by his coaching staff, but by every player on the New York Knicks team.
Yeah. All right, so the Knicks leading that series 1-0. That play by Bridges, too, at the end of the game to take the ball from Jay. Just snatch
Just give it to me.
Give me that ball.
He was the most dominant player in overtime.
That was awesome.
On both ends. What he did defensively, because he had the 2 steals. He had to play the passing lane, steal in the corner. That started to break, and then the baskets that he was. Hey, listen, they gave up a lot for him, and he has done a good job of giving them a nice return on their investment.
Yeah, Denver. What the hell was Oklahoma City doing? I'll admit first and foremost, I'm not a fan of the fouling up 3. I'm not, and I know people have the argument for it. I'm not a fan of it because I think too many things could go wrong. Whereas I'll take my chances of not giving up a 3. Or in last night's case, with 13.9 seconds left, I'm certainly not fouling with 14 seconds left and extending the game to a free throw game. I'm going to go ahead and let them shoot the 3 with 10 seconds left because even if they make it, I got 10 seconds left. I got the ball and I still have 2 timeouts. Instead, they foul with 14 seconds left in a span of 4 seconds of game time. They gave up 4 free points. They wasted 2 timeouts. And then we're outscored at the free throw line because they made it a free throw game with 14 seconds. There were still 8 seconds left in the game, and you just screwed it up. And not only that, the second foul they fouled on the inbound under the basket. I mean, you could have at least let them get up to mid-court.
Dribble. The whole thing is to try to waste some of the clock.
Yes!
You want the clock.
They fouled immediately like they were down 2. And they foul again, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So then they waste their 2 timeouts as well, and then it comes down to the last second. Gordon hits the shot. You have no timeouts left. You had 2 8 seconds ago. What the hell happened? I'm not one to look at coaches and be the almighty, I know better, but what the hell were they doing? That was just a cluster right down to the wire there for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Let me tell you this much. You know when you sit there and you watch and you see something going wrong, you're like, sometimes you start to think, well, I just want to think, well, maybe there was something that was going on that I'm just missing. Maybe I'm missing something. And so you just, but now why they do that?
Yeah, wait a second.
This
isn't right. This isn't.
This is something that you'll go back and be like, damn. What
and the second foul, they did it with Jokic at the scorer's table. And didn't play it out. Up 3.
The biggest thing I think is there are, especially when you're at that point in the basketball game. And again, there has to be enough, and the thing is they have a good staff. People they've been together for a long time. You just at least need one person
to realize what the hell's going on.
And to just relay it. Because for a head coach or whatever there's so much that's going on at that point in time. And it's a lot easier when we're doing it, whether we're sitting at the game and you're sitting in your seat, I'm sitting in my seat. There's still a different amount of stuff that's going on. But that's also what makes the great ones be great and then the other ones be good, that you respect them being that way. And I think just in that moment, there was just a little bit, there was a lapse in judgment, but it was just at the wrong time on the biggest stage. And in essence, then cost them a basketball game.
Cost them a basketball game. And how about the numbers for Jokic?
42, 22, 6 assists, 7. The only thing that was bad, he had the 7 turnovers.
All right.
I'm saying that was the only thing that somebody could be like, he had some, like, bro.
Man was harassed all night too and still came up with those numbers.
And he was emotional.
Yeah.
Like this is, and I think a lot of it is because they have Adelman as the interim coach. His voice now is a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing more from him in that way. And then Aaron Gordon,
how about the 2 finishing shots for him this week?
That's what I said. His ability to just be in the right place at the right time. That's been off the chart.
Yeah, I mean, that dunk was unbelievable to finish that game, and then this one, knocking down the 3 to finish that one. And then we got Minnesota Golden State. That one gets underway tonight, or if you're listening to this, probably last night. The Minnesota Golden State series. What do you think?
I think if Minnesota can not allow this to be a half-court, just execute all the time game, then their size can win out. Right? And what I mean is they still need some level of pace to be to the game so they can use their athleticism, try to use up some of the energy for the Warriors. But then when they do get into the half court, be able to use their size to be an advantage for them. I mean, they're the deeper basketball team.
Can they wear out Golden State?
That's what they're gonna have to do.
Because they did to the Lakers.
They have enough. They have all of the pieces that you want on a basketball team. I mean, they have size, they have athleticism, they have length. They have shot makers, they have depth, they have leadership, they have, and then they have experience because they've been there. So and then they have a hunger. Like, that's the one thing that you can't always inject into how hungry is a team.
Yeah.
But they got a team across the board of guys who have
and got a little
gotten to a
swagger.
place. Man, they remind me of the Grizzlies when they came in, and the way that they just continued to just take over and win games. People kept trying to would kind of be like, well, how and why are they? But they just would.
They've
win.
grown this season, playing their best basketball at the end, which is when you want to be playing your best
And they're
basketball.
healthy.
All right, a couple of the West teams that are out. Houston Rockets. What do we make of being the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, getting bounced in the first round by the Golden State Warriors?
To me, it speaks to that your most talented player has to be. You got to show up. And they didn't. And with Jalen Green, he didn't give them enough to give them chance. If you look at the scores, the reason why they weren't winners because they didn't score.
Right.
You know,
And Jalen Green didn't score.
And because of it, the Warriors, they weren't scoring high numbers. These were low hundreds that they were scoring and winning games.
Yeah.
And so the problem for Houston wasn't that defensively you weren't playing well enough. It was the fact that on the other end you just weren't scoring.
Right.
And so they needed their gifted wing player, their star, to play at that level, and he just wasn't able. And the thing about it was there wasn't anything that Golden State was doing specifically to stop him. It wasn't in that way. You just couldn't find. You know, they would try to double or soft double him if he came off screens, but it just wasn't the same. Wasn't the same Jalen Green that we're seeing all season.
Are they get a big move away, or are they tweaking away?
I think just tweaking away. I think they have a mentality. They have the players to be able to do it. You may want to add a little bit more shooting to their team if you can. But they have the pieces. As I said, you got to have guys have to perform, and when you're playing against other good teams.
Yeah. How good was Steven Adams against Golden State? Man.
How about the ability to play? How about the ability to play those two bigs and be as efficient as they were playing in their zone? Like I'm telling you, defensively, I thought they did a heck of enough on the defensive side to put them in positions to win. It's just the other thing was, you know what? They played against a winner. Like there's nothing that you can account for. People that have been there and have the same mentality. And between those three guys, with Butler, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry, the three of them have a mindset that's permeated through their entire team.
Yep. Clippers off season. James Harden, Game 7, ouch. Not good.
Yeah. He hasn't. Game 7s haven't been nice to him. And it's unfortunate, but again, that's like we always say. Like your role guys can get you, but so far. And it's no knock. It's just because that's not the role that they play. It's not the shots that they're going to take throughout the season. It's not your skill in some way, shape, or form allows you to perform at a higher level, which is okay. But if you don't do it, then it makes it that much harder to give your team a realistic chance of winning. And so he couldn't find it. But it was more than just. I mean, it was way more to get beat in that fashion. That's way more than just one player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is an entire team needs to look themselves in the mirror at that type of loss.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, they have good pieces. They're really good defensively, right?
I mean, and they're an older team also.
But there are guys that you're like, we could do better in that area. Could have a better player there, better player here. Just feels like they could get better.
Yeah, they'll have to have some type of youth move in some way. Try to figure out find some younger guys to play around. I mean, I don't know the years and what Harden and Leonard and UCLA kid who started this year. I always forget his Norman Powell. What those contracts. I really like Zubac inside. He's a really good big in the game, and so they and then they have some other things, but I think for them, roster wise, they'll want to try to see if they can upgrade in some way and some of their talent to go around and who's going to be next.
Lakers, they have to get a big.
Yeah, that's playing undersized. It can't work. It can't work for so long. Like eventually, keep trying to add 6'8".
Rudy Gobert's just the Hall of Fame against you.
Hey, they were just bull. Julius Randle, how good he looked. And then whenever Anthony Edwards wanted to go to the basket to get any type shot, he just go to the basket and get that type shot. There was the one thing that everybody knew what the easiest way to beat them on the offensive end, make enough shots from the perimeter, but just keep the offensive rebounds, keep going. The shots that you're going to get going towards the basket. And then it was, like you just said, that was also, I think, just a wearing down of players. Like the relentless attack. Not just attack offensively, but the way that they attack defensively against the Lakers. And how many people they had to be able to defend Luka and LeBron James and make it hard on them to score. So I was going to say, I think if you want to talk about versatility, there isn't another team, I think, left in the NBA playoffs that are as versatile as the Timberwolves. It's just a matter of will they make enough of the right plays and limit the bad plays that don't allow them to win games. Mm-hmm. But they're poised to be hard out.
Oklahoma City's going to come back, right? Beat Denver.
Yeah, I think. Listen, those were like moments that were in your hand. You know, like they're still a better team than the Denver Nuggets.
They fouled with 14 seconds.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
while I say that I'm against fouling up 3, if there are 4 seconds left in the game and they're inbounding, I'm all for it.
And they have no timeouts.
To me, it makes sense there.
Right.
And they have no timeouts.
Yes.
But with 14 seconds, my gosh, and it just kept spiraling out of control. It's terrible. Did you watch Kentucky Derby?
No, I just saw that was another muddy one.
It was.
You think they'll change the date? I mean, it's literally. I can't remember the last time you watched one and it wasn't just a muddy mess race.
Yeah, they can be muddy messes, and it was a muddy mess. But Sovereignty coming away with the win, and it was fun to watch. I always enjoy when the announcers talk about the horses like they're people.
Yes.
Like when this one was one that happened at the Kentucky Derby this past weekend. The announcer said, "What's amazing about this horse is he knows he's better than the other horses in the field, and the other thing, he's just a classy horse." The hell does that mean?
I mean,
does he open the door for the fillies? I mean, what do you mean he's classy?
Listen, this is a world, man. If you're just gonna try to dip your toe into the world just for the Kentucky, just for this one race or just the 3 big races of the year, then you just gotta stand on the outside and wait for the race to happen and just enjoy the race. But if you're not gonna be a part of the culture, the people that are a part of that culture understood exactly what he meant.
He's a real confident horse. He's going after an oat bag. That's what he's running for.
They have personality. If it was that way, then all of them would be at that level. But there's something that's different about them. They're athletes in their own right.
Oh, for crying out loud. Now you sound like those people. These athletes are amazing.
They are. They're. I mean, they're animal athletes, and what they're able
athletic.
To do. Athletic.
They're not athletes. They're athletic.
They're athletes.
They are forced to train. They are forced
some of
to
them
work out. They are athletic. They're not
athletes today are forced to work out.
Just like horses.
To play games. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's true. I guess they're the same then. Just the horses, yeah. Well, maybe I was wrong. Kills me. All right, any toasts this week?
Oh man, I'm at this time of the year. This is when I start to now watch. I'm fine with watching all sports. Right. Just because you can't watch basketball all the time, so I got to give a shout out to the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh man.
Their win over the St. Louis Blues. Sorry to do that to you.
Yeah.
But 1.6 seconds left to go in the third period. They're down 3-2. They get a redirect goal with 1.6 to tie it up, and then they win it in the second overtime. Yeah. As there's not much. To me, hockey and baseball are very similar. Like, I'll watch as soon as the playoffs start. And then for whatever reason, just because the stakes are, the arenas, it's just the energy that is there. That in watching that Game 7, it was, and to see the faces on the crowd before they made this goal, and to see the goal and all the people, I mean, it gave me goosebumps watching. So
yeah, they were down 2 with 2 minutes left.
Yes.
And pulled the goalie, scored 1 to make it 3-2, and then score with 1.3 left to win it, or to tie it and send it to overtime. It was heartbreaking as a Blues fan. I mean, this is Game 7. Game 7, and you did what Oklahoma City did. You forgot how to play hockey in the last 2 minutes of the game. Let's just ice it down the rink, and it'll be icing, and we'll have another face-off in front of our goalie, and then another face-off in front of the goalie, and then another face-off in front of the goal. I mean, it was like, just clear it out to center ice, for Christ's sake. No, we're just going to send it down the length of the ice because we're freaking out back here. And so, yeah, shout out Winnipeg. Good for you. Also, shout out Coach Pop.
Yes.
Greg Popovich, stepping down, I guess, as the head coach for the San Antonio Spurs. He's now El Jefe.
I saw that.
Which is his new deal. 33 seasons with the Spurs, an assistant from 1988 to 92, and then the head coach from 96 to 2025. 1,561 coaching wins, 5 titles, 3-time Coach of the Year. I don't have the numbers, but you can Google it. I failed to do so. But the number of coaches who have been hired since Popovich was hired as the head coach of the Spurs, I believe it's over 300 coaches have been hired in that same span, including, I think it's like 16 from the Grizzlies, something like that.
It would be when did the Grizzlies come into existence?
Moved, they were in Vancouver for a little bit.
But that was what, 95?
Yeah.
So it would, in essence, be every Grizzlies coach.
Every Grizzlies coach in history, yeah. How about that? That's amazing. All right, so the top tenured coaches now in the NBA are Eric Spoelstra, of course, the number 1. 2 is pretty easy now that you think about it, Steve Kerr, number 2. 3 is Tom Thibodeau. 4 is Billy Donovan of the Chicago Bulls. 5 is Tyronn Lue. He's 5th and longest tenured coaches. And then Mark Daigneault of Oklahoma City is 6th, and Chris Finch is 7th.
Billy Donovan.
Crazy.
Who? He must have some pictures or something.
Yeah. I guess.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of pictures, Will Hardy of the Jazz just got a 6-year deal. 6-year deal? None of these coaches have been there for 6 years. Let's see. Just Kerr and Spoelstra. So Will Hardy will be up at the top of the list at the end of this contract.
I'm just saying, Billy Donovan has been given a long leash with that team.
Yeah. Since 2020 for Billy Donovan. How about that? All right, shout out to Coach Pop.
Shout out, Pop.
And thankfully, I never had to interview him.
You know, underneath, I always wanted to play for the Spurs.
Oh,
I felt like they fit the type of basketball that I was good at.
Yeah.
I always wished that I was like, I would love to have been able to, once I played and got to, started to get to the ladder, I was like, I would have loved to have been a part of their franchise.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Tomorrow I'm going to stand in line for a long time.
I feel for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But who knows? I'll have time to catch up on Twitter and maybe watch some podcasts.
Are you going to bring like a chair?
Yeah, I'm bringing a chair and an umbrella. But I have to have my hair all nice because I have to get my picture taken. So there's a lot of stuff happening tomorrow.
You have an umbrella?
Yeah. 'Cause hopefully it's going to rain. Keep people away.
Right. That's right.
All right, that's going to do it for us here this week. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at The Fish Nation. That's how you can get me at BrevinKnight22 and the show at Night Court 22. For BK, I'm Fish. Thanks for joining us here on Night Court. We'll talk to you again next week.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Night Court podcast. If you enjoyed Rob and Brevin, hit that like button, subscribe to the Bluff City Media YouTube channel, and enjoy the content. We will see you back here next time.